Why gratitude is the foundation of all growth. Most people think gratitude is something you practice after you succeed, after you win, after life gives you what you want. They believe gratitude is the result of abundance. But Napoleon Hill taught the opposite. Gratitude is not the result of abundance. Gratitude is the cause of abundance. And this is where most people get stuck without realizing it. They are waiting for life to improve before they feel thankful, but life is waiting for them to change their inner state before it delivers more. Being grateful for what you already have is important because it trains your mind to recognize value instead of lack. When you live in lack, your attention is always focused on what is missing, and whatever you focus on grows. A mind trained on lack creates more lack. A mind trained on gratitude creates more awareness, more clarity, and more opportunity. Gratitude shifts your mental posture. Instead of approaching life as someone who is deprived, you begin to move through life as someone who is supported. That shift alone changes how you think, how you speak, and how you act. Napoleon Hill understood that the subconscious mind responds not to words, but to emotional states. Gratitude is one of the strongest emotional states you can generate because it signals safety, confidence, and expectation. When you are grateful, you are telling your subconscious mind, I have enough, I am capable, I am aligned. The subconscious then works non-stop to prove that statement true. It searches for evidence. It notices opportunities. It connects dots that a complaining mind will never see. This is why gratitude attracts more blessings. Not because the universe is rewarding politeness, but because your perception is now tuned to see and receive more. A resentful mind is closed. A grateful mind is open. And life can only flow into what is open. When you are grateful for what you already have, you stop fighting reality. You stop wasting energy resisting the present moment. That energy becomes available for growth, creativity, and action. Gratitude grounds you in the present, and the present is the only place where progress can happen. People who are never grateful are always mentally living in the future or trapped in the past. They are chasing what they don't have or replaying what went wrong. Gratitude brings your power back to now, and power always lives in the present. Napoleon Hill repeatedly emphasized that riches begin in the mind, but the mind must be conditioned. Gratitude is one of the simplest and most powerful conditioning tools available. It trains the mind to expect good instead of fear loss. It builds emotional stability. It creates confidence without arrogance, and confidence attracts cooperation. Opportunities often come through people, timing, and intuition. Gratitude sharpens all three. When you are grateful, people feel safe around you, they trust you more, they want to help you, they want to work with you. That is not luck. That is psychological alignment. Gratitude changes your vibration, your tone, your presence, and life responds to presence. This is why being grateful for what you already have is not settling. It is preparing. It is telling life, I can handle more, and life listens. How gratitude reprograms the subconscious mind. Napoleon Hill made it very clear that the subconscious mind is always active, always listening, and always responding. It does not turn off when you sleep. It does not pause when you are busy. It absorbs the emotional patterns you live in every day and then builds your reality to match them. This is why gratitude is so powerful. Gratitude is not just a thought. It is an emotional frequency, and the subconscious responds to emotion far more strongly than logic. When you practice gratitude consistently, you are sending a clear signal to your subconscious mind that says, I am safe, I am supported, I have enough. Once that signal is accepted, the subconscious begins adjusting your behavior, your reactions, and even your perception of the world to keep that signal consistent. This is how gratitude quietly reprograms you from the inside out. Most people live in a state of fear without realizing it. Fear of not having enough, fear of falling behind, fear of losing what little they have. That fear becomes the dominant emotional pattern in their subconscious, and the subconscious responds by creating more situations that reinforce fear, not because life is cruel, but because the mind seeks familiarity. Gratitude interrupts that cycle. When you choose gratitude, especially when it feels difficult, you break the emotional loop that keeps repeating the same results. You stop feeding fear. You stop feeding lack. And when fear is no longer the dominant signal, the subconscious becomes available for growth. Gratitude trains the mind to look for confirmation of abundance instead of confirmation of limitation. Over time, this changes what you notice. You begin to see small opportunities that once went unnoticed. You hear ideas instead of noise. You feel calmer under pressure. Your decisions become more deliberate instead of reactive. This is not coincidence, it is conditioning. Napoleon Hill emphasized repetition for a reason. A single grateful thought does not rewire the mind, but daily gratitude does. When gratitude becomes a habit, it becomes part of your identity. And once it becomes part of your identity, it shapes your reality automatically. This is why grateful people often appear lucky. They are not lucky. Their subconscious is simply trained to recognize value, timing, and opportunity. A complaining mind overlooks blessings because it is busy cataloging problems. A grateful mind sees blessings because it expects them. Expectation is powerful. The subconscious works hard to fulfill expectations, whether they are positive or negative. When you expect good, you move differently. You speak differently. You carry yourself with quiet confidence, and people respond to that energy. Gratitude also calms the nervous system. When you are grateful, your body relaxes. When your body relaxes, your thinking improves. Clear thinking leads to better choices. Better choices lead to better outcomes. This is how gratitude creates a chain reaction that attracts more blessings over time. Not instantly, not magically, but steadily and predictably. Napoleon Hill understood that success is built through mental alignment first. Gratitude is alignment. It brings your thoughts, emotions, and actions into harmony. And harmony is fertile ground. Nothing valuable grows in chaos. Gratitude removes internal chaos. It creates order, and where there is order, life can build something meaningful. This is why gratitude is not optional for growth. It is essential. Why gratitude changes your actions, not just your feelings. One of the biggest misconceptions about gratitude is that it is only an emotional practice, something that makes you feel better for a moment. But gratitude does far more than change how you feel. It changes how you act. And action is where results are created. Napoleon Hill understood that emotions drive behavior, and behavior shapes destiny. When a person is ungrateful, they move through life with tension. They rush, they force, they react. They make decisions from frustration, impatience, or fear. Even when opportunities appear, they approach them with desperation instead of clarity. Gratitude removes desperation. A grateful person does not feel behind in life. They do not feel like they are chasing the world. They move with a sense of inner stability. That stability shows up in their choices. They listen more, they think before acting. They take calculated risks instead of reckless ones. Gratitude slows the mind just enough to allow wisdom to enter. This is why grateful people often make better long-term decisions. They are not blinded by emotion. They are grounded in perspective. Napoleon Hill taught that success is rarely about doing more things. It is about doing the right things consistently. Gratitude helps you recognize what actually matters. When you appreciate what you already have, you stop wasting energy on comparison. You stop measuring your life against other people's timelines. That frees up mental space, and mental space is where creativity lives. Creativity leads to ideas. Ideas lead to opportunity. This is one of the quiet ways gratitude attracts more blessings. It removes mental clutter. A cluttered mind cannot recognize opportunity even when it is right in front of it. A grateful mind is clear. It can see what matters and ignore what doesn't. Gratitude also changes how persistent you are. Ungrateful people quit faster because they feel life owes them something. When results don't come quickly, they become bitter. Grateful people persist longer because they already feel rewarded by the process. They see progress where others see delay. They see learning where others see failure. That perspective keeps them moving forward when others stop. Over time, persistence compounds. This is why gratitude often precedes breakthrough. Not because gratitude guarantees success, but because it sustains effort. Napoleon Hill emphasized that sustained effort guided by faith is what separates winners from quitters. Gratitude strengthens faith. It reminds you that you are already supported by life even while you are building something new. Gratitude also improves relationships, and relationships are one of the greatest sources of opportunity. When you appreciate people genuinely, they feel it. They respond with trust. They open doors. They recommend you. They share information. Many blessings come through human connection, not isolated effort. A grateful person attracts cooperation. A resentful person repels it. This is not moral judgment. It is cause and effect. Gratitude makes you easier to work with, easier to support, and easier to believe in. Over time, this creates a powerful network of goodwill. Napoleon Hill called this the mastermind principle. Harmony between people working toward a shared purpose. Gratitude is what keeps that harmony alive. Without it, ego and resentment destroy collaboration. With it, collaboration multiplies results. This is why gratitude is not passive, it is strategic. It shapes how you show up, how you decide, how you persist, and how others respond to you. And those changes in action are what slowly but surely attract more blessings into your life. The final truth: how to practice gratitude and let it multiply your life. When everything is stripped down to its core, gratitude is not something you do once in a while. It is a way of living, a way of thinking, and a way of leading your own mind. Napoleon Hill's greatest lesson was not about money, success, or status. It was about mental control. Gratitude is one of the strongest tools for that control. It brings everything together. It stabilizes your emotions. It sharpens your thinking. It aligns your actions. And when those three are aligned, life begins to respond differently. Being grateful for what you already have does not mean you stop wanting more. It means you stop feeling empty while you build. It means you stop acting from desperation and start acting from confidence. Gratitude tells your subconscious mind, I am already supported, and from that place, growth feels natural instead of forced. This is why gratitude attracts more blessings. Not because life owes you anything, but because you are finally in a mental state that can receive. A closed mind cannot receive. A bitter mind cannot receive. A fearful mind cannot receive. Gratitude opens the mind, and openness is where abundance flows. So how do you actually practice gratitude in a real, practical way? First, you slow down long enough to notice what is already working. Your breath, your health, your ability to think, your chance to grow. These are not small things. They are foundations. Second, you stop waiting for perfect conditions to feel thankful. You choose gratitude during the struggle, not after it. That is where gratitude becomes powerful. Third, you express appreciation intentionally, not only in words, but in how you treat people, how you respect time, and how you respond to difficulty. Gratitude is shown in patience, in discipline, in how you carry yourself when no one is watching. Fourth, you begin each day by setting your emotional tone before the world sets it for you. A few moments of intentional gratitude in the morning reprogram the subconscious for the entire day. Over time, this becomes automatic, and when gratitude becomes automatic, abundance follows naturally. Not always instantly, not always dramatically, but consistently. Your relationships improve, your confidence strengthens, your decisions become clearer, your resilience grows, and life begins to feel less heavy. Napoleon Hill taught that riches are not only financial. Peace of mind, clarity, confidence, and opportunity are all forms of wealth. Gratitude attracts all of them. In the end, the lesson is simple. Gratitude is not a reaction to blessings. It is the reason blessings keep arriving. The more grateful you become, the more capable you are of receiving what life has to offer. And that is how gratitude quietly, steadily, and powerfully multiplies your life.